day 34 of 100 days. So this is day 32, 33, 34. I was away on the weekend for a work event and some romance at the same time, which was amazing. Okay, I've been sitting here staring at my computer, trying to figure out like what is my actual message today. And I'm going to be really, really vulnerable. Um, I have been in a tailspin the last 12 hours. So over the last 34 days, I have made a tremendous amount of change in my life. I've surrendered into letting go of a lot of things that didn't serve me. So I quit drinking through the week, quit using black eyeliner, switched to brown. I don't even know how I feel about that anyway. Um, I'm taking my yoga practice more seriously, journaling daily, talking to my yesterday self every night and every morning, and setting some boundaries and closing some doors and bolting them shut, as well as blowing open some doors. So there's a couple of things that have been the most rewarding, and then a couple of challenges that have been really painful. So not allowing myself distraction in the evening has changed my life, because instead of being distracted with a very needy partner who was all about the amount of time, not the quality. He's been watching these videos, so hopefully he doesn't see this one, but that's on you. Taking up a lot of my time, actually, and not filling my bucket. And so instead of moving into distracting myself with TV or social media or any of those things, I've been leaning into my sisters. And the amount of love that I feel far surpasses anything I've ever experienced in my life. These women were always there, always have been there for me. And going through all of these transitions and changes and really having to stay strong in some boundaries, they've been the voice that when I lose my own, they've been there for me. And I fucking wish I would have let that happen so much sooner in my life. There's something incredible about women raising women, supporting women, lifting women up. And I've always been about that. Always. I don't have any drama or stupid shit in my life. I'm really blessed. But really opening the doorway into leaning into these women has been so transformative for me. And you all know who you are. So thank you. Fucking love you. So it's been a whirlwind. So yesterday, it's a long story, and I don't feel that details are absolutely necessary for this, but there's been what could be perceived as a tremendous amount of gaslighting from someone in my past, my very recent past. And I don't think that he sees it that way at all, but it's been extremely painful. It's broken me down on levels that I do not care to be broken down to. And last night sort of was this catalyst into being called a fraud. And I understand that when someone's in pain, we're going to project. And I kind of had not just closed the door to possible friendship, but like bolted it shut. And it was harsh. It wasn't unnecessary. I don't feel it was untrue, but I was a bit harsh. And the immediate reaction made me crumble. And it sent me into a tailspin of, am I a bad person? This is something that I've always feared. I have always feared that, am I a narcissist and I don't know it? I've always feared, because I am very strong. Like, I'm really strong and I am really fucking good at boundaries. And that gets from small people or weak people, that often gets perceived as me being a righteous bitch. I'd like to use the C word because I've been called that by someone in the last year. Not a past lover, but anyway. And so this year I've had two men, one romantic, one non-romantic, project and gaslight, and then grovel at my feet and apologize and say none of it's true. And then do the same thing all over again when I won't be their mentor or their coach or their everything. One was a friend, one was a partner. And in the explosive aftermath of setting a firm boundary comes in how I'm a horrible person. I am a bitch. I am a fraud. I've been called that twice this year. The first time I was like, looking at the source, like there's some alcohol abuse and stuff like that with this individual, and okay, whatever. And it hurt, but I was like, whatever, like I'm not going to own that one. But having that happen last night from someone who I trusted would never do that to me put me into a tailspin of replaying all of the abuse my mom gave me. My mom telling me that I was a bad person, my family members telling me that I was too strong, that I was heartless. And so my entire young youth, like my adult youth, like 20s, slammed me in the face last night when I got hit with this. It was painful. And the thing that I really had to process was I need to be okay with being perceived as a bitch. I really need to be okay with that. And I am for the most part. But when it's someone that I actually truly care about and they turn on me like that, it threw me like I wanted to puke, man. Like it was rough. And it sat so unwell with me. And I try to avoid situations where I have to be that firm. But twice this year now, some fucking dick pushes me past my boundaries over and over and over again to the point where I need to burn the bridge, slam the door, bolt it shut. That kind of energy, right? And I don't like being that at all. I don't enjoy it. It makes me super uncomfortable if I have to, explode onto someone. And so sitting with that all night of, am I a bad person? Am I too mean? Am I? And then this morning I kind of woke up and I was like, I never attacked person's character. I never attacked their integrity or their physicality, or like I didn't do low blows, didn't do any of those things. I called out the behavior that was being slammed in my face, pointed to it and said, this is not allowed. That's not happening anymore. You have two options: apologize or stay the fuck away from me. And I want to be able to own that. I want to be able to be okay with someone being disgustingly reactionary, cruel, and unkind and not letting it hit me in the heart. Not there yet, but the awareness is there that And so one of the things I always do when I have to set boundaries like that generally is I sit with it for quite some time and I process what's my desired outcome. What's my intention with this and what's the desired outcome? And then I approach it from that fashion. My desired outcome was stay the fuck away from me. Got that. And in hindsight, I wish I wasn't so harsh. So there's that. So moving forward, I'm very aware of I will hold my boundaries with love. And I'm usually really good at that. Failed that yesterday. So really processing that and doing a lot of conversations with 2 year ago me who fell in love with someone who displayed someone totally opposite of who they are. It fucking sucks. Anyway, spent some time with her, processing a couple of different things, really got clear on, we're all going to get hurt. We're all going to be abandoned at some point. We're all going to have people be reactionary, but it doesn't have to be a reflection of you. and to really stand tall in moments like that. There's that. The other piece that I'm going through is absolute shock in how I'm being loved right now. I didn't know this was an option. Like, oh my God. So from all of my sisters and followers, I'm getting so much love and encouragement and these emails of or messages of what you're going through and sharing with me. And that's such an honor. So thank you. I can't keep up with all the emails. I'm doing my best. But what an honor. Oh my God. Thank you. And then the other piece, the romance piece. So I have fallen in love with my best friend. This man has been under my nose for 19 years. And we are best friends. And, you know, in our early 20s, had a relationship. And we were both broken children then, and it didn't work out. But this man, this is what I want for every fucking person out there, Jesus Christ. This man actually has made statements like, can we have a vulnerable moment? Yes. Can I express some of my fears? Yes. I know how hard you've had to do everything alone. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you never question that you're loved. And the actions match it. Like, are you kidding me? What? So didn't see that coming, but beyond grateful and amazed that such a tender, vulnerable, beautiful human can sit there and see all of me and just embrace it and vice versa. So that's been really exciting. So there's that news. Really fucking cool. Yeah. So 34 days of wild transition and transformation. I strongly suggest this journey. I'm only 34 days out of 100 in, but it is shocking what surfaces when you create more space for it and you surrender into what are the fears. Fire gets under your ass. Like I have fire under my ass right now of what I want to bring to the world. It's amazing. So yeah, how are you doing with your surrender? What are you going to surrender into? It's an incredible opportunity. February, we're moving into February tomorrow. February is an incredible month of doors being open and clarity and receiving and just energetically and forward momentum. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Hardcore. All right. So I think I'm out of things to say. It's amazing how childhood trauma can peak up like that. I've been processing a lot of that over the last month for sure. And I mean, I've invested my life into this, therapists and healers and like all the things. It's not like I've never ignored it or addressed it, but it's very interesting to see how unknowingly I was trying to make something that was dead in the water be amazing. And that I was being hyper patient and a cheerleader and a support system to someone who didn't want to incorporate me into anything. Never met their friends. Like there's so many things. But anyway, and then fucking gaslighting the hell out of me now, making me feel like I'm crazy. Like I do not like that. And how I didn't even see it. And now I look back on 2 years and I'm like, holy fuck, that like gaslighting was always there. And I just didn't know. Like it's sneaky. It's sneaky. And my mom did it to me all the time. Like I swear she wrote the manual on gaslighting. I don't know what she's like now. I haven't seen her in a decade. So I'm sure she's like, healed her shit or whatever. It's not about that. But back then, and hopefully she knows better, does better now, but whatever. But she just constantly would bait me and put me down. And I didn't realize that the fear of not being enough or being too much actually is more of my fear being too much. So I hold back on my anger. I hold back on my bitchiness. I communicate from a very calm, concise place. I journal it out before I communicate. And then I set up a time for success. And I say, these are the things that I'd like to talk about. Maybe we could sit down tonight after dinner and give you some time to process before we sit down. Like, why am I trying so fucking hard? And then getting slammed in the face with like your pain. That's disgusting. Don't do that to me. So it's just so fascinating that that's what morphed me into really trying to prevent that type of pain, really truly trying to prevent it and trying to be the best communicator that I could be. All because of like childhood trauma, which makes you settle for things that aren't for you. And I have no evidence up until now that a partner could perfectly equally match your style of communication. And that a partner who has their insecurities can bring them to the table and say, this is where I'm insecure, and I know this is a me thing. Can we just process it for a second together? Yeah. Like there is a reflection of you in another part in a person. And I have that beautiful reflection across the board right now. So I never want you to give up. I never want you to question your worth in receiving love or the heightened love that you can receive. And I'm not saying that because I have it right now. I truly did believe that. I just didn't, how do I put it? I truly did believe that, but I wasn't aware that what I was receiving wasn't it, if that makes sense. So now I'm processing all of that and beside myself in like 19 years. It's been sitting there for 19 years waiting for this moment. Ah, it's good. All right. Here's that. Day 34. Freaking love you guys. Like legit.